These two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
It's a Scoop Session Tuesday here with our friend Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Departments. The Sports Dad, a rare in-studio appearance here for this podcast.
Yeah, very rare.
Yeah, I have some.
What the heck is going on?
Let's say there's
meetings.
some business to take care of.
Some big
Let's
business.
just say there was some business to take care of. I got, full disclosure, I got a letter last week that scared me a little bit. IRS, W-4 issues for Sports Dad. What's a W-4? Sports Dad didn't know. Brought it in, got some help. Turns out that the government's updating how forms are filled out.
Uh-oh.
And the company has to change it for me, but I had to sign off on it.
Oh, God.
Whoa, dude.
But the problem...
So you almost got arrested? Is that what you're...
Aggregators, get this.
Yes,
Tax fraud,
yes.
Judd.
And I'm not going to show it, but but the problem is, as was explained to me, they're actually helping me because they're going to withhold more, which will help not to pay in as much at the end of 2025.
When's the last time you paid taxes?
I pay
Don't lie to us, Judd.
I pay them
Yeah,
every year.
I don't know.
I pay them every single year. And by the way, they're not cheap.
He's like Dawn on
Anyway.
speed dial. Dawn, what's the answer to this question?
No, she's in charge of paying.
1998? What do you mean?
She's in charge of paying them. But here's the thing. When you get a letter, and this is actually helpful, but no matter what it is, it looks like they're going to arrest you. So like it never says, IRS, good news, Judd Zolgan. We're going to withhold a little, we're going to withhold a little bit more to help you out, which is not good news, but but it's not. Everything looks like you've done something wrong, and the letter's like, do not contact us. Contact your employer. I was like, I spent 5 days wetting myself,
Judd, in a
concerned
cold sweat every
that
night
I was
going to
going
bed.
that I was going to be playing bocce ball for 6 years.
You did feel a little nervous yesterday. I don't know, something about your
In
energy.
a federal
that felt a little
penitentiary,
nervous yesterday.
with a bunch of people.
Yeah,
Now
no
I
doubt
find
so.
out it's fine.
Amazing.
So anyway, that's why I'm here.
Okay. Glad
Otherwise,
we
I'd
got
be at home.
I
I
got
don't
that
think
figured
Sports
out.
Dad, though, you couldn't get somebody to come to your palatial estate, West Metro?
Who am I going to
Or
get
meet
come
you
to
at
me?
TCO?
Pull
It's
a couple
busy day at
strings,
TCO,
yeah.
right? The coordinators getting their time at the podium.
Yeah, I'm
You
not. I don't go on
convince
Tuesdays.
Somebody
I don't
at
work
4415
Tuesdays.
University to come to you. You're
Kirk and I are
Sports
both off on Tuesdays from going to TCO.
In fact, it is, happy Kirk Cousins week to all who celebrate Dukes. We asked this question on Purple Daily, so we'll ask it to you too. The fork in the road that the Vikings faced last March, where they had to make a decision. Do we keep piling money into the Cousins legacy bank account for quote-unquote stability at quarterback, or do we enter the great quarterback unknown? And entering the unknown, taking the right at the fork in the road has been very fruitful because Sam Darnold's been awesome. The Vikings are 10-2. J.J. McCarthy is waiting in the wings. But what's the biggest lesson learned over the past 9 months since that fork in the road?
The biggest lesson learned. Well, confirmation. Thought it was believed, but confirmation that Kevin O'Connell can work wonders with a lot of different quarterbacks. Yes, Kevin had some interest in retaining Kirk Cousins, but the Vikings knew very early, heck, before March, via communication with Mike McCartney, Kirk's agent, that there was going to be a bigger payday elsewhere. The Vikings were not willing to go down that road. There was a price point. They were not going to exceed that price point. They knew for a while Kirk was leaving, and they did their due diligence. Heck, they came to the conclusion long before March that Sam Darnold was their number one target. So lesson learned, unless you have the elite of the elite, Josh Allen. I get it with Cincinnati, although to me it's unbelievable how many times the Bengals score 30 points and end up losing. But you have Joe Burrow. You have Patrick Mahomes, although pedestrian this year. But unless you have, you have one of those tier one type guys, you don't invest heavy money in a middle tier quarterback. I still think Kirk Cousins is okay. I get it. The numbers this year are frightening. What we saw on Sunday, whoa, like that pick six, like that was something Like if Doogie threw that pass in an 8th grade Hopkins game, I would have been like, what were you doing? It was telegraphed. The second he cocked his arm, it was obvious. It was going to be a pick 6. Like, Kirk, what were you thinking? That was troubling, incredibly troubling to me. But I'm still a somewhat believer in Kirk Cousins, Phil. But you don't pay a quarterback like that the money that Atlanta did. It's just not going to, more often than not, work out well.
Yeah, I think I think the O'Connell thing is the biggest thing. Like, to me, that's what I came. Do I think that Sam Darnold suddenly had a resurgence and could be plopped anywhere in 2024? Absolutely not. Like, when you look at the infrastructure here, and to be fair, it's not just the coach. O'Connell is huge here, but I mean, you've got a building now full of people that get it. The way that they go about giving feedback, the way that they go about instilling confidence. Like this is the first time, and we talked about this, Dukes, on PD as well. You know, the Vikings have long had a really good, stable type franchise. But this is the first time that they've had anything, in my opinion, in age as close to this stability at the quarterback position. And so it's not like, okay, you're going to have to pay Darnold. Knock on wood, he keeps this up, Dukes. It's, okay, you can allow Darnold to walk and now not stay up nights sweating that, oh my God, what's next? Because you know what's next and you have a lot of confidence it's probably going to work.
You're right about the infrastructure. We've touched on that, but it's even better than maybe I thought. Like, you talk to enough people, Judd. Josh McCown, like, I don't get why. I saw Jay Glazer on the Fox pregame show on Sunday have a list of coaching candidates. Where was Josh McCown's name? Josh McCown very much should at least be interviewing for some of these jobs. I saw a national reporter toss out on social media on Monday, hey, the Bears should attempt to trade for Kevin O'Connell, which, if you guys got into it on Purple Daily, not happening, okay? Like, for myriad of reasons, but the Vikings are not trading Kevin O'Connell. But if you're Kevin Warren, if you're Ryan Poles, minimum, like, okay, I get it, Ben Johnson. Okay, go chase him. But, like, Josh McCown needs to interview minimum for that Bears job. You talk to enough people in Eagan, they sing the praises of Josh McCown a ton. It's others as well, but Josh is the one I want to single out in this space.
Actually, I'm going to ask a question, and it's not rooted in reality, because like you would never entertain trading Kevin O'Connell. I'm just wondering, trying to gauge the value of Kevin O'Connell, because there's a report that he's going to get double. He's reportedly making $5 million, that he might get $10 million on his next contract. How many picks, first round picks, I would assume, would he be worth before you like? If the Bears, and again, this is not happening, but like if a team called you and said, we are trading for Kevin O'Connell, what's it going to take? Because John Gruden got traded once back 25 years ago. And for the fourth time, I am not looking to trade Kevin O'Connell. But how many first round picks is he worth as a head coach?
I feel like you have to give yourself cover right now, Phil. Like take the cover.
Okay.
It's raining. It's hailing.
That's probably a good idea.
There we go. I feel better.
This is the type of question that where like if you hate Score North or hate Purple Daily, or
I'm not clipping this. Someone else can grab this on the internet.
Question.
Oh, they will.
This.
And
AJ,
whatever Duke said is going to be aggregated.
No, the question is not would you trade Kevin O'Connell, or it's how many first round picks is he worth value wise? That is my question.
It's a fair question. It's good fodder. Hey, it's not like we started this. It was a national reporter. I forget her name, but she has a following. She has at least some level of credibility, and it was just an idea, right? Social media. She felt like it was a safe space to throw out the idea. She was attempting to make the Trace Armstrong connection with his Bears history. Trace, the agent for Kevin O'Connell, trying to connect some dots. Yes, the Vikings are not trading Kevin O'Connell. There's nothing to worry about.
3 first round picks.
But what would it take, Phil? At least
4.
that, right? Like, you're not trading him for less than 3. Yes, I think we can talk about 4, perhaps even more. But, like, it's not 2. We know that. Like, no way, no how is it 2. And I'm not sure it's 3. But, like, that's where you start the dialogue.
Isn't
right?
that
That's
wild?
the first offer. That's not a final offer. That's the first offer. Then you go from there.
Yeah.
Kalen Collar, ESPN now, threw it out on X.
ESPN.
And was she throwing it out there as if like the Bears should legitimately try to trade for Kevin O'Connell, or
just as a hypothesis,
or they need a coach like Kevin O'Connell? Is that the?
Yeah,
well,
they're looking for a leader of
Caleb
men.
Williams, Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah,
You know, they exchanged some pleasantries after the game at Soldier a couple Sundays ago. The Vikings did some due diligence on Caleb, even though everybody knew Caleb was going to be the number one pick. But the Vikings did their due diligence on Caleb pre-draft. So she was connecting those dots. Then the Trace Armstrong connection. Then opining, hey, the Bears should at least make the attempt. But yes, the Vikings are not doing that. We've said it for a long time. They are going to extend Kevin O'Connell. I think Kevin O'Connell can be the Vikings coach for a really long time. Like, even if J.J. McCarthy fails, if 2025 is a disaster, if this year ends up, with a first-round playoff loss, like the 2022 season, I'm just telling you, the Vikings I've been saying this for a long time, I'll reiterate it now. The Vikings love Kevin O'Connell. I'm telling you, if he wants to be the Vikings coach for the next decade, he will be. That's how confident I feel.
So 4 first-round picks. Is that
5. It's got to be at least 5.
Just saying. It's it's crazy. Like that's. How
I want the Herschel Walker package. That's what I want. I want the Herschel Walker package.
Speculation.
And I mean, heck, isn't it even more when talking about a division rival?
Good point.
Heck,
8.
for sure, conference rival, but a team you see twice a year, a team you're trying to trump in terms of, okay, if we can get a home playoff game in the first round, win the division, we have to be better than that team. So, yeah, I mean, you know what? I just talked myself into it. It's at least 4, and I think it's more than that.
It's 8. But, Dukes, the one thing that you're right about, and I will not be surprised if McCown actually gets more sniffs or interviews than Flores, is this. One is, I'm with you. I think he is. And if you watch him on game day and stuff, you guys, like, he ain't no ordinary quarterbacks coach. Like, he's very involved. He is very, involved. And if you go back, the Houston Texans at least interviewed him twice when he had no assistant coaching experience at all. But the other thing is that makes him an at least attractive guy to bring in is you want to find out as much as you can about the secret sauce here, right? Like, if nothing else, you're going to pump him for information and find out, like, what are the attributes. I mean, the Vikings are clearly doing something really right. Sam Darnold was a flop, and they have clearly, and I do think that it started in San Fran, but nonetheless, I'm with you. And if McCown impresses them enough, I think that there's a chance that he does get a job, because this is what teams now are going to be looking for. Like, it's great if you're, if you can lead, but if you're a former QB, and O'Connell is proving this, and he wasn't a starter. If you are a former QB and you understand the dynamics of leading a team, right? Delegating as well, but then just as importantly, being a hands-on guy that can turn quarterbacks around, your value skyrockets.
So how do the Vikings keep Josh McCown is my question off all that. I mean, you'd have to elevate him to something higher than...
He's my OC next year.
So do you move Wes Phillips into some other thing? And are there ways you could keep both those guys? Hey, Wes Phillips, because they already have an associate head coach in Mike Pettin, right?
Yeah.
So but they'd have to give him more money in a bigger title, like offensive coordinator, and then find something for Wes Phillips to do, I guess, right? That's how you'd keep Josh McCown.
But if you're Josh, the next logical step, if you can't land a head coaching job, is to go call plays for someone.
Yeah.
So let's say one of these defensive coaches, maybe even a Bill Belichick, a Mike Vrabel, one of these guys that's been a head coach, but maybe it's a current DC. Heck, if some team was willing to roll the dice on Brian Flores, I still have a hard time believing that with the pending litigation. But, to me, Josh should be calling plays next year. And
good point.
As far as I can tell, Kevin is not giving up that power. So, yes, it sounds good in theory, Phil. Can you find a way? Can you elevate him? Heck, if you lose Wes, so be it. But Do you demote Wes or, whatever it is, whatever his title is? Maybe it's not a clear demotion, but, behind the scenes, it's sort of a demotion, but you elevate Josh. It sounds great. But I'm saying if you're Josh, like you're doing this because you want to be a head coach. And Judd, it's not just Sundays. It's not just game day.
Right.
Like his involvement during the week, post-practice, his one-on-one work with each quarterback, but specifically Sam, his relationship with Sam that goes back to when they were teammates in Carolina. But in terms of game planning assistance, helping put in plays, feedback, a sounding board for Kevin O'Connell, like Josh McCown has been incredibly valuable. But I just think the next step is for him to call plays. Keenan McCardle as well. Like the Vikings wide receivers coach, I thought he was going to get the New Orleans offensive coordinator job that went to Clint Kubiak, but Keenan is on the cusp of doing the same. So, yeah, it comes with the success, right? When, you have this sort of success, it's pretty much inevitable. Like we'll be talking about this, whenever the Viking season ends, late January, hopefully into early to mid-February. But at some point in the winter, we will be talking about the Vikings probably losing at least one coach, if not multiple.
We'll get to the rest of Doogie's scoop bag here, including a Wolves ownership update. But what's going on Underdog here, Dex, as we head into Week 14?
It's been great. This basketball guy just keeps hitting big-time wins on Underdog. This was one of the mini wins in the last week on Underdog, okay? So the NBA place, I think I might be the spot where I'm putting all the pick'ems on going forward. So Underdog promo code SCORE still gets you a 50% deposit match. Even saw like a nice no-sweat token dropped for users today. So no sweat. Make a pick'em, no sweat, get the money back if it doesn't hit. Underdog promo code SCORE for a 50% deposit match.
I have a great holiday gift idea for Doogie here. All right, so maybe
let me write it down.
Write this down. Maybe your wife would be interested in a trip to Woodhouse Spas with over 70 spa services, facials, massages, body treatments, nails, specialty packages, or you guys could both go for a couples massage. Maple Grove, Woodbury, Rosedale Center, the perfect gift for your spouse, your mom, anyone on your list. Declan's going to get his first massage on a trip next week. Not at Woodhouse, but maybe when you get back, we can make the whole show can go to Woodhouse Spas.
Yeah. What do you think, Judd? Guys, you get some hands dug in, What do you think, Sports Dad?
I wouldn't mind it. Are you kidding? This looks great.
Get into Sports Dad's
so you can stop right there.
In his shoulders. Okay.
Yeah, you can stop right there. That's good enough.
Woodhouse Spas, locally owned. Locations in Maple Grove, Woodbury, Rosedale Center, woodhousespas.com to check on those gift cards. So, all four of us.
Yes. Can't go wrong with a massage. Never. No. Even if it's a male. I don't care. Like, just, you got all this
those
stress,
hands
right?
on me. Yeah.
What we do is incredibly stressful. Think about the crap we deal with on X, right? Like,
it's a
the
tough
notifications.
Life,
right? People just going at us left and right? It's incredibly stressful. We've got all this stress we need to release. So male, female, doesn't matter. I'm
marriage
all
is
about give me the massage. So yeah, I've got it. Woodhouse Spas, Phil. I wrote it down.
The fans don't bother me at all. Marriage is stressful.
So we found out that reading Twitter and being married are both stressful, apparently.
Being married is stressful. There's no question about it.
Judd, I feel like the only things you do are being married
in jail right now, Judd.
Reading Twitter.
What's that?
You'd be in jail without Dawn. Don't ever forget that.
Oh, yeah. No. I love her dearly. I'm just saying it's stressful. I'm just saying, no. This is nothing. This is not a bad reflection.
You've been cheating the IRS, apparently, right? And
this is not true.
She's rescued you.
In fact, the IRS and I found out today are like this. Right, they're sending me Christmas cards basically saying, how can we help Sports Dad? They're fans.
Dukes, let's fly through the rest of your scoops here. What's going on with the Wolves ownership situation? Can we just get some finality, please?
No, we really can't get any finality, at least here in 2024. This will bleed into, we've alluded to this, but now it's pretty much confirmed. It will bleed into 2025. So attorneys for both sides, attorneys representing Mark Lowry, Alex Rodriguez, attorneys representing Glenn Taylor, will be summoned back to answer some final questions from the 3-person arbitration panel. And I am led to believe that will take place after Christmas, really after the new year. So we're not going to get any sort of decision until sometime in January, then at that point, Phil, nothing is set in stone. So if Glenn wins the arbitration case, Mark and Alex can certainly do some things legally, even go to a federal judge. There's all sorts of things, right? So there is no guarantee. Glenn can do the same, right? Mark and Alex, I've been saying this for a long time, always had a very compelling case. So let's say Mark and Alex win the arbitration decision. Glenn and his representation can go to a federal judge, attempt to block, just delay things. So this is still going to drag on for a bit. But in terms of just this next step, we're awaiting this arbitration decision. We are still multiple weeks out.
So the ruling is not necessarily final then?
Well,
I thought it was, but I don't know anything
about it. It is, but it isn't. It's just... And I'm not the best person to lay all this out. I just know you can, if you want to, involve a federal judge. Then a federal judge can make a ruling. There are ways to delay this thing. Remember, if Mark and Alex win the arbitration case, they still need to get final approval from the Board of Governors, 23 affirmative votes out of, it would be 29 because the Wolves wouldn't be voting. Glenn Taylor would not be voting. So we're talking about 23 of 29. Now, they've been working for many, many months to drum up interest, to sell on these governors. Hey, this is why you need to approve us. Thinking ahead, working ahead. Hey, we're in a good spot, so just be ready. But that still is going to be a process. So I guess what I'm getting to is it wouldn't shock me when the Wolves are hoisting that Larry O'Brien trophy in June. We still might not even have full clarity. So that would be Glenn Taylor in that moment.
Yeah. What a mess. What a lingering mess. Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News sports department here.
Our Wolves are playing better, though, Phil.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That Lakers team
had their 5th game in 7 nights, a back-to-back, having to travel east. That was a schedule win for the Wolves. But I'm not going to take anything away from the Wolves' best performance in a while. 13 of their 20 games have come down to clutch time. That means within 5 points, 5 minutes to go. So last night was encouraging that it was a blowout.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, the defense has been locked in the last couple games too. So
yeah, where are they at now defensive rating-wise? They even upper half of the league? I believe they are.
I think they're back in the upper half, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
we'll take
long way to go to number 1. Long way to go. All right, Dukes, we got to run. We'll catch you again on Thursday, sir.
Sounds good. One final thing, shameless plug. I had a nice conversation with new Lynx assistant coach Lindsay Whalen on Monday. That's available on the KSTP Sports website, kstp.com. I came away she was incredibly energized. Just a good vibe about her. The aura, she seemed to be in a much better place compared to, say, 18 months ago. So super, super excited for one of my favorite people, Lindsay Whalen.
Love Lindsay. Darren Doogie Wolfson. We'll see you later this week.
Okay, sounds good, boys. We'll chat on
happy
Thursday.
Kirk Cousins week.
Speculation Thursday. Yes.
Happy Judd avoiding arrest week. It's a big week here. Minnesota sports with Mackey and Judd.
Going to the pokey.